Welcome back. I will again be the bearer of weird news. My name is Matt, and let's get into the news. Alan Jones. Ooh, yeah, we're hitting all the big hitters today. Alan Jones. The controversial climate change denying radio figure currently on 2GB, though, as of right now, who could actually say he's in a lot of contested positioning. He recently had some on-air ramblings about New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern that got the attention that he has been desperately seeking his entire life. He's saying that he is a victim of a ruthless social media campaign. In his own words, it seems to be okay that you can, in social media about Alan Jones, say, "Oh, we should kill him. The language being used about me is extraordinary." Despite being the self-proclaimed master of free speech, when it comes to his own words, even as far back as April 2007, when the ACMA found that the broadcaster 2GB and Jones had broadcast material, specifically comments made by Jones between the 5th and 9th of December 2005 that were, quote, likely to encourage violence or brutality and to vilify people of Lebanese and Middle Eastern backgrounds on the basis of ethnicity. But no, don't worry. It's the social media people now who are the problems, not back then. Back then it was fine to say whatever you want. It was in the past. We said past-like things that were in the past. We don't say past-like things anymore. We only say nice things, especially about Alan Jones. Especially Alan Jones. Can't use his words against him. Can't use any words against him. Moving on. Right, so these comments came as a member of Jones's on-air team has complained to the ABC's Media Watch program after it aired 5-day-old audio of Jones urging Scott Morrison to give Jacinda Ardern, quote, a few backhanders, or what a gentleman. Now, Media Watch criticised Jones over his now widely condemned comments. Reportedly, Jones's producers were furious with the ABC segment because it might have led someone to believe that he had doubled down on criticisms of Ardern after apologising. And now, to be fair to him, he did apologise. But it was a pretty shit apology. So the problem, it seems, according to a member of Jones's team, is that the radio presenter had been taken out of context. Seems to be the issue here. The context. Not the words that he had said, not the fact that he had said them on air. He was taken out of context. Despite Alan Jones only really having two contexts. The first being just awful, and the second being backpedaling from something awful that he just said. Those are Alan Jones's only two contexts. They seem to think that the only person who can use Alan Jones's word to hurt someone is Alan Jones, especially if that person is Alan Jones. Moving on. This is a fun one. Pauline Hanson, seen here, posing for the August cover photo of Wrong Side of History magazine, has had a change of heart when it comes to climbing Uluru, saying she now understands why the practice will end in October. Now, for anyone who isn't sure, Uluru is a massive sandstone monolith in the heart of the Northern Territory's arid red centre. More importantly, it is sacred to the Indigenous people of Australia. Not to mention that they would prefer there was an end to the seemingly unending bevy of unfit tourists who have likely never even climbed a jungle gym at a local park, let alone this 458 metre natural wonder. So, they suggested putting in a ban, with that ban being enforced from October 2019. A day which also holds historical significance, as it was the day in 1985 that the government returned ownership of the site back to the Anangu people. So Senator Hanson arrived on a Wednesday, and after meeting with the Anangu Mayacha, a council of elders, and in an uncharacteristically understanding gesture from the famously obtuse senator, she got permission to climb the rock.
It's about being respectful, because they invited me out to the community, so I had that personal invitation to actually come there.
This was, of course, all somehow in an attempt to prove that her previously stated point that closing the climb was, quote, no different to saying that we're going to close down Bondi Beach because there are some people that have drowned, end quote. Which should tell you everything that you need to know about how she thinks. And that maybe she thinks that Bondi Rescue Lifeguard Team are the traditional owners of the beach, and presumably she will be off to climb that lifeguard tower next. So anyway, after making that climb, she told the ABC that she now understood why climbing would be banned from October 26. So what conclusion did she come to? Well, it's quite scary. That was her conclusion. It's quite scary. She says, I was surprised. I've never been out there before. I respect the decision that there is not enough safety with regards to the rock. I respect the decision that their people, their kids, are not getting jobs. They're bringing in Aboriginals from outside to fill up the positions, and that should belong to their own people. So, to summarise, this has nothing to do with regard to cultural sensitivity, just that the climb is harder than she thought. And she actually got stuck halfway up in a delightful piece of footage.
I can't up any further.
But is it right?
Seriously, I cannot walk down here. My boots are that bloody old.
So in this footage here, you can see Hanson can be seen walking up the rock without any issue, till she gets to a certain high point where she claims her boots appear to give her trouble, and that she essentially has painted herself into a metaphorical corner, saying, seriously, I can't get down here. My boots are that bloody old. Presumably, in this case, boots are a metaphor for her ideas about race. Now, the senator maintained that she would like to see the Uluru climb remain open, despite everything that she's just said, but that she's willing to work with the traditional owners to look at how safety could be improved. Presumably this doesn't just include people not climbing it in order for them to stay safe. Who could say? Okay, let's move on to something a little lighter, a little more fun. Here's one for you. Finland hosted a heavy metal knitting championship. So what exactly does this mean? Well, teams of avid knitters danced to the deafening sounds of drums beating and guitars slashing. But if you still are asking why, I don't blame you. Basically, Finland is renowned for the genre of music. Being the home of previous Eurovision winners Lordi, there are stats out there, they have roughly 53 heavy metal musicians per 100,000 people. I couldn't find any stats on the number of knitters per 100,000 people, but theoretically it should be a similar amount, if not more, in order for them to combine these two activities together. Through the competition, the thrash metal band Manic Abductor performed, and the website reads, in heavy metal knitting, the knitter performs a part of the band, showing their best needlework tricks as the heavy riffs echo in the background. And that is just a beautiful statement. It's just a wonderful moment of lightness in what seems to be an increasingly weird, dark world. Performers took to the stage under names such as Wolf Fumes, Bunny Bandit, and 9-inch Needles, which, that is just beautiful. 9-inch Needles, love it. The competition took place in a packed square in the town hall of, I'm going to mess this up, of Jonsu. Jonsu, I don't know. Apologies. Close to the Russian border. An eclectic group of around 200 people watched the performance, from families and to young children, to the elderly, to the less conspicuous heavy metal fans donning leather jackets and swirling their long hair to the fast-paced rhythm of the music. This is so delightful. Now, while combining heavy metal music with knitting might not seem an obvious match, the organisers say it's similar to other unusual events that they have in Finland, such as Championships of the Air Guitar. Yes, that one matches up, that makes sense. Swamp Soccer. I don't even know what that is. Presumably someone's playing soccer in a swamp. I don't know how these two match up. And wife carrying. How does a wife carrying match up with knitting, metal knitting? In that they are strange, I will give them that. But other than that, there's not a lot of correlation. That Venn diagram, very far apart. Well, I guess roughly what it comes down to is when you've got big chunks of darkness and very limited summers, you just gotta find ways to make the most of the time when the sun shines. And that when you're sitting in 24 hours of perpetual darkness, you're just like, you know what would be fun? Knitting. Like, clearly this was organised by someone sitting at home knitting in time to some heavy metal song. Like, surely that has to be the impetus of this festival. Weirdly enough, for the first time that this competition has happened, it had contestants from 9 countries. So it included the United States, Japan, and Russia. They all put on performances full of theatrics and passion and drama, and the jury struggled to agree upon a winner. You could say it was close-knit. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're doing knit puns. Finally, it was a Japanese performance by a 5-person Giga Body Metal team that clinched the title with a show featuring a crazy sumo wrestlers and a man dressed in a traditional Japanese kimono. After the success and fun of the first championship, the organisers announced that they would repeat it next summer. So you have time to plan a well-knit trip to Finland. Speaking of unusual festivals. In another part of the world, a pair of university students from Palmerston North in New Zealand have scrambled the competition of the World Egg Throwing Championships in England. This is the thing. This is another sort of fun sounding competition that I think would be a fun day out. It's put together by the World Egg Throwing Federation. Yes, that's a thing. They are the official organisation that promotes the sport of egg throwing. It promotes a number of different variations of games, including Russian egg roulette, throw and catch, a static relay, target throwing, and egg trebuchet. Which all sound pretty fun, to be honest, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I feel like this sounds like a fun day out. But to be honest, I'm surprised they haven't been attacked by vegans, by PETA. By like some sort of militant group that is anti-use of egg in any capacity. It does say on their website that they discourage the use of eggs in the role of vandalism, so that's something positive. So these boys, Ben McCollum and Lockie Davison, coined the yolk ferns, which I don't know what that means. They poached their title from their Canadian counterparts with a 60-metre throw in the final round. So Davison said that they were, quote, ecstatic about the win, which they must have just had locked and loaded, ready to go. Officially, for an egg throw to be successful, it needs to be cleanly caught by the teammate without a crack to its shell. The pair triumphed over a number of teams from different countries, the Netherlands, Mauritius, and several teams from England. The duo tried to adapt to the English conditions by having a practice with supermarket eggs beforehand, but prior to that they were struggling. They couldn't sort of crack the 30-metre mark. Fortunately for them, the eggs used in the competition were the same as the ones that they had been practicing with, that they preferred. They were organic and they were medium-sized eggs. McCullen who's a former cricket wicketkeeper, said that the key to catching an egg was getting under it as quickly as possible. Hot tip for anyone thinking of checking out the egg tossing competition next year. MacLeod said that they would be running an egg clinic to help with catching tips, and then dropped some shade on the New Zealand cricket team, the Black Caps, by saying that they'd be happy to give them some tips. I presume that there's some sort of catching scandal. I don't really follow sports. Despite it being their first year in sport, MacLeod and Davidson are considering retirement, given that they've already reached the pinnacle, saying it might be time to find something even weirder. Maybe they can try taking up knitting for the Finnish summer. Fun. Tied it back together. See? Look at that. Professional. Moving on. The bolivar, which is the Venezuelan very real life currency, has fallen in value recently. How far has it fallen, you ask? Well, so low that the virtual and very not at all real currency in World of Warcraft, literally called currency, is now almost 7 times more valuable than real world cash from Venezuela, whose economy is in shambles due to extreme inflation. As of not that long ago, one official US dollar was roughly 68,915 bolivars, and that was going by official rates. If you wanted to go by the black market rate, you could. It would go for roughly 69,854, and that was black market rates as compared to local exchange rates. Currently, the black market rate is considered more trustworthy than the official rate, because the Venezuelan government has lost so much credibility amongst its people that it is considered less credible than black market pirates. This is a problem. Now, by contrast, an official token or an in-game credit in World of Warcraft is worth around $20. So tokens are sold to other players for gold, and their value changes throughout worldwide auctions. So this is why it is more stable than the bolivar, because it's set against other markets, like global markets, that all sort of play into this. Now, according to a World of Warcraft token price tracker, a token is currently worth 201,707 pieces of virtual gold, which means that a single dollar trades to 10,085 gold pieces in World of Warcraft, which makes the fake money used in Azeroth about 6.8 times more valuable than the genuine Venezuelan bolivar. So more than a year ago, $1 US went for about 3,100 bolivars. But since then, the bolivar has basically lost 98% of its value, just crashing straight into the ground. Now, in response to this, the Venezuelan government launched the world's first sovereign cryptocurrency, which is just the worst idea. Like, there was some real shifty, tech startup Zuckerberg, the Venezuelan Zuckerberg, who talked them into this. This is a real terrible idea. But they're calling it the Petro, which in Spanish means rock. Because much like its namesake, rocks, the rock, they are stable, and they will eventually diversify with a career in Hollywood, taking on more serious moniker, Dwayne the Petro currency. Until, of course, it encounters a cryptocurrency that is paper-based, forcing it to finally be defeated. It's only a matter of time. The Petro will join a plethora of other currencies that are named after synonyms for stability, like the Hungarian definitely reliable, the North American forget about it, which granted is mostly used by the gangster class, the Greek austereo, named for the Greek god of financial stability. Yes, cryptocurrency. The first result of those who have got nothing to hide and are definitely not in any sort of serious trouble from which they need a fast way out of all the trouble that they definitely aren't in. Look, currently one token is said to cost roughly $60 of this cryptocurrency. So well within the average citizen's grasp in these harsh economic times. At those prices, they may as well be trading World of Warcraft currency, because they're only a third of the price as the sovereign cryptocurrency. Not to mention that the petro can only be bought with other world currencies. It's not exactly clear how investors will actually be able to obtain it, let alone sell it. So, solid work there, Venezuela. Saving the country one cryptocurrency at a time. Just a couple of quick ones. We'll wrap this bad boy up. There's a house that appeared on the San Francisco market that was boasting that it had a Harry Potter room under the stairs. Now, look, there isn't much to this story, to be honest. It's just, that's a closet. Like, that's not a Harry Potter room. That's a closet. But the woman who put the ad up, she said she didn't know how else to describe it. I'll tell you how to describe it. It's a closet under the stairs. If you want a reference point for how to describe it, you could try a cupboard under the stairs. Basically, you could look to the book that you are taking this name from, because I'm pretty sure they described it as a cupboard under the stairs. That's probably the best way. I'll tell you, a cupboard under the stairs, that is not a selling point. Like, I know times are tough and the economy is sort of on the decline, but a cupboard under the stairs is not a selling point. And finally, moving on. I only have this here for the title, to be honest, guys. A man found masturbating in a shopping centre car park after seeing an attractive woman was fined $1,500 at the Fremantle Magistrates Court. And then they put up this beautiful headline. Just, can we appreciate that headline for a moment? Fine for man caught masturbating in Cockburn. Oh, so good. So good. Editors wait their entire lives for headlines this good. The police basically, so what it came down to was, the police prosecutor said that the guy, Michael Wallace, who was 60, was caught in the act in his parked car. He thought that the tinted windows would stop anybody from seeing him. He was wrong, but he thought that the tinted windows would stop anybody from seeing him. Essentially, he got off light, if you'll forgive the pun. The magistrate, Nicholas Lemon, said that the maximum sentence could have been 9 months in prison or a $9,000 fine. $9,000. Keep it in your pants is not worth $9,000. Go home. It's not worth $9,000 just to get off in a car park. On top of his $1,500 fine, he was also forced to pay $205.30 in court costs. Guys, thanks for your time. This was a much quicker video. Hopefully I'll be producing some more of these. Please come check me out in the Fringe Festival. I've got 2 shows in the Fringe Festival, a solo storytelling show and a really fun showcase show that I think you guys will really enjoy. If you like this sort of silly and news stuff, then you're definitely going to enjoy the showcase show. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. Goodbye.